The Research Design Service is funded by the National Institute for Health Research to provide free advice and support to researchers who are applying for funding for health and social care research. RDS can support researchers in a number of different ways, such as refining their research questions and choosing an appropriate method. NIHR has been particularly keen to support research ideas that stem from everyday clinical practice, and that's one of the really nice things as an RDS advisor, to get caught up in the enthusiasm that researchers have to use research to improve patient care.
In this day and age, clinical trials will have to become part and parcel of a clinician's repertoire. If not leading on trials, they should be conducting and recruiting patients to trials simply for the fact that it improves outcomes.
In terms of research itself, then it goes much broader than that. You can start formulating kind of questions to address some of those real clinical issues that you face on a day-to-day level.
The questions you generate from clinical practice need to be translated into answerable research questions.
As a clinician, you're certainly not going to have all those skills in your own personal portfolio. You're going to have to find those skills in others round about you that you're working with.
For clinicians employed in full-time clinical care, the barriers are two: time and team.
You immediately see the contrast between the study design that's had professional input and something that seemed a good idea at the time to the researcher.
RDS has been phenomenal in helping me with research as I've grown in my research role.
I think the RDS has been brilliant, really, in terms of being able to go along to people at the RDS with a kind of small seed of an idea, and just to see whether it will float, whether it's a sensible idea. So right from the very beginning, I think the RDS have been really helpful.
If I think back to my first grant application, we started from scratch, went to RDS with an idea, and that idea was immeasurably refined and defined better by RDS's involvement. And as a starting clinician researcher, without RDS's support, you can't get the perspective of the funder, because you have to dispassionately look at your research application, and RDS helps you do that.
The more closely we've worked together as years have gone by, we've involved RDS earlier and earlier in our research thinking process, because the sooner you can get an expert involved to refine your question, to look at the methods you're going to use, then the more valuable it is.
The added value in terms of refining the research question, in assembling a good team, in finding the right funder for it, in advising me of when funders are open for particular calls. So it's been invaluable.
Every step I found them invaluable in getting right from the idea of the research to submitting funding applications.
And the RDS team will help us unpick all our assumptions and point out to us where we really do need the new knowledge to underpin the research design.
Yes, so RDS helped me assemble a team. So within the university, I don't have to go hunting for different people to be assembled, and I go to RDS with the idea, and if that idea passes muster, then RDS will help me put me in touch with a statistician, with a health economist, social scientist, and the rest of the members who are integral to a multi-speciality, multi-center application.
It's really the first place that I would send anyone looking to start a clinical research project of any kind.
Involving RDS within a grant application increases success significantly. I would go as far as saying that at this point in time, it would be foolhardy for clinicians to even think of applying to a portfolio funder without RDS's involvement in it.
I think there's absolutely no doubt that within a relatively short space of time, there is no way, as a relatively small clinical discipline, we would have achieved a total of 4 HTA substantial grants without the RDS input.
Without RDS's support, I would say that it's virtually impossible to come up with a robust application that will be looked upon favourably by a funder.
Approachable, knowledgeable, and they deliver.
RDS is invaluable, indispensable, and impressive.
Well, I would say it's a success maker service.